Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. What labels me negates me. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. What if everything in the world were a misunderstanding? What if laughter were really tears? To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. God creates out of nothing. Wonderful, you say. Yes, to be sure, but He does what is still more wonderful. He makes saints out of sinners. To cheat oneself out of love is the most terrible deception. It is an eternal loss for which there is no reparation, either in time or in eternity. The proud person always wants to do the right thing, the great thing. But because he wants to do it in his own strength, he is fighting not with man, but with God. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. Many of us pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that we hurry past it. It is so hard to believe because it is so hard to obey. Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself. It is impossible to exist without passion. There is nothing with which every man is so afraid as getting to know how enormously much he is capable of doing and becoming. It is the duty of the human understanding to understand that there are things which it cannot understand. The self-assured believer is a greater sinner in the eyes of God than the troubled disbeliever. Happiness is the greatest hiding place for despair. On the secretly blushing cheek is reflected the glow of the heart. Take away paradox from the thinker, and you have a professor. It is very important in life to know when your cue comes. Once you are born in this world, you're old enough to die. A no does not hide anything, but a yes very easily becomes a deception. Hope is a passion for the possible. The task must be made difficult, for only the difficult inspires the noble-hearted. The only intelligent tactical response to life's horror is to laugh defiantly at it. What is youth? A dream. What is love? The dream's content. To be lost in spiritlessness is the most terrible thing of all. Don't forget to love yourself. Whoever has learned to be anxious in the right way has learned the ultimate. Only the person who is essentially capable of remaining silent is capable of speaking essentially. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness. It's better to get lost in the passion than to lose the passion. Life has its own hidden forces which you can only discover by living. Far from idleness being the root of all evil, it is rather the only true good. Nothing is as heady as the wine of possibility. Sleeping is the height of genius.